Hello everyone, welcome to Itza Nails. Today I'm going to be sharing how I did this super blingy nail set, and I've already touched the nail tips and shaped them, but stay tuned so I can share with you what items I used if you want to follow along. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing with you the items that I used, but you can use any of whatever you have at home. It doesn't have to be the same brand, but if you want to achieve this look, you can try something similar. For starters, I'm going to be using this lovely color from Ladybug Nails. It's called Pastel Violet. I love it. I have another video where I've swatched several colors if you want to see. And then also this one from Fantasy Nails. It's from the Mateo collection. It's called Lila Atenea. I'm going to be using this one on my accent nail, which is going to be my ring finger. I also have a swatch video. I think it's in Spanish, but I'll link them up at the top in case you guys want to see them. And along with that, I'll be using some crushed shell. And this one's like a lilac-y purple one, just a little bit. Then also for decoration, I'm going to be using these dried flowers, especially the purple one that you see down there. For the ombre, I'm going to be using this color Lady Petal from Ladybug Nails, which I love. And of course, some clear acrylic and our liquid monomer. Before I actually start, I'm going to make sure I remove any possible dust or debris on my nails, because then that can lead to lifting or an uneven application. So I always do that with a lint-free wipe and some regular alcohol. Then I'll be using my nail dehydrator I did at home. I'm going to put a poll up here at the top right corner if you guys want to answer my question. I have a video that's in Spanish on how to do the nail dehydrator, but if you really want to see one in English, I can go ahead and make one. But anyways, after I use my nail dehydrator, I use my nail primer. Also comment down below if you want an explanation video on what the purpose of each one, or a walkthrough of the actual full process of prepping nails. So afterwards, I'll just put away my nail dehydrator and then put a healthy coating of primer in each one of my nails. And just to show you, this is the brush, the nail brush that I use. Although you can hardly see it, the Kolinsky number 8 by Alpha brush. I have several sizes. This is just the one that I'm going to be using in this occasion. And as you can tell, I do flatten my brush. That's just how I like to use them. And I think I have a video, but it's an older video. If you guys want to, well, I'll just link it up at top. It's pretty much the same way. And now what I'm going to do is just put a very light, a small pearl of clear acrylic, and that's to protect the natural nail. I always do this just because when it's time to remove them, I'm actually filing down to the design and the color or the nail art and not the natural nail. And so I'm going to continue and do this to all of my nails, and once I am done, I will come back and show you what I do next. So now I'm going to use the pastel violet color to start laying the color up at the tip of the nail, and then I lightly brush it up. Just make sure to clean the sides so that I don't lose or distort the shape of the nail. And always wipe down my brush, as you can see, on a paper towel to keep it nice and clean, and so that you don't have any issues with acrylic building up on the brush. Now, a tip that I'd recommend, or a tip that I give you, is if you're barely starting to do ombre nails, you can definitely work in smaller beads, and so you can have a better control of your acrylic, and that way it'll be easier when doing that ombre. And then once you have the base of the first, color laid down, you can definitely add bigger pearls or more of that, and then just go up at the tip and then slowly kind of like do that ombre look or vanish it down towards the nail plate. And then after that is where I'm going to show you on how to apply the nail plate color or the base of the ombre. But for now, I'm going to do this middle finger in all of that pastel violet color. I always like to play up different ways, so that the nails look different each time I do a set. I don't know why. Lately, I haven't been uniform. I've been doing like random designs in each finger. I just like that look. But I was noticing that this color was applying quite transparent for some reason. I don't know why. When I swatched it, it looked very different, but then again, I was getting bigger pearls, which is something very, very doable. You just have to have a better control. The larger the pearl, the more precise your ratio of monomer to powder. Now I'm going to be using the Lady Petal. Like I said, this is one of my favorites to do ombres. It goes perfect on its own as a full nail color or a makeup color, or in this case, an ombre. And again, especially this is for beginners that are having trouble, managing the pearls until you find a good place of your ratio for monomer to acrylic powder. You can just grab smaller beads, place it close up to the cuticle, but not touching the cuticle. I usually do leave like 1 millimeter or so of distance between, so it's a very tiny distance, and then just brush it, feather it down. This is just for when you're having trouble controlling your pearls and stuff. That's why I always recommend working in smaller beads. It is easier to work in a larger bead. You get a more of an opaque color, and then to do the actual ombre, it's easier for me, but I thought I'd show you this way. And also, if you feel like you need more of that color, you can just add it down closer to the middle of the nail plate and just feather it down to cover your first color. Now you saw me get the acrylic powder from Fantasy Nails, which is in Lila Atenea, and I'm just applying it closer to the cuticle area and kind of feathering it down a bit. I just wanted a small bead just to give it that glittery look, and always make sure to clean our sides. Now I get some clear acrylic, dip it into the crushed shell, just very little, and then kind of spread it around. Like I said, it's just a little bit, sometimes less is more, and that's what I wanted. I still wanted, the designs to shine, but I wanted also to not take away from the other nails. So now what you saw me do is put a light wet bead of acrylic so I could place down the natural flower, the dried flower. These are very delicate and it does take a while for them to dry, so I just hold it down with my brush like you see here, but being very careful, otherwise they will tear. Then once that dried, I added a very I can't talk, a very wet bead of acrylic, and that is so that the wet bead kind of penetrates every nook and cranny of the nail, wherever the nail design is. And then after that's dried a little bit or has set a bit, then I go in and encapsulate completely. But that's just a tip that I wanted to share with you, because I know that sometimes we don't cover or encapsulate the whole area. So like a good way to do it and have control over the flower is to put a very wet bead just to have it set down in place and we don't tear the leaves. And then once that's semi-set, I can go ahead and put in a bigger bead and actually encapsulate the whole nail. And as you can see, you always see me pat down because I want to preserve the shape and clean the edges. But after I have encapsulated all my nails, I go in and give the final shape, not forgetting to do the sides and the bottoms, because it's you can very easily distort the shape of your nail if you're not filing or if you don't do the final tuning. So I do that with my hand nail, but then I go in with my electric nail file and I do the sides. I start from one end, and as you can see, go to the middle, up at the top, and then end up on the other side just to smooth it. But now I have finished with that. I had removed the dust. Now I'm going to do the stones, and these are the ones that I'm using. I will also leave a link up at for my Amazon favorites, and these are included. This came in a whole packet. It came with this little box. It came with these little like tweezers, and then this picker, like wax picker. I love that one. And then another box of these little different size rhinestones. It is amazing. Oh, and it also included this wax pencil. So I'll Oh, this glue is separate. It's from another set that I also loved. It's to adhere stones. Once you adhere them, they stay. They're really good. But as you can see, it's super gooey and thick. So when I'm working with that, I love to have alcohol on by my side so I can clean up. But all of these items are in my Amazon storefront, which are just basically items that I recommend. And so you can just click on it. The description is down below and it'll take you to get all these items. These items are the ones that I tried and used and loved. So this is one of the other things that I've bought and that I've loved, which are the silicone brushes. They have different tips. Like this one, I use it to swipe or clean around the nails. And then this one, I can use it to apply, for example, gel, color, gel glue, or in this case, the gel resin. And this one, you do have to cure it under the lamp. And like I said, it came in another set that was for caviar beads. So I will give you the link down below. If you open the description box, you will find the link to all of this. Now, I didn't like what I was doing here with applying the whole color because I wasn't even sure what I was going to do. So you can always remove this with a lint-free wipe and alcohol, and then it'll clean it right up and you're all good to go. But I love using this type of resin because it will not dry on you until you actually stick it under the lamp. And it gives you time to play around with it, move it around, and then once you're actually made your mind up, you can just stick it into the lamp. And I love this. As you can see, this little wax picker up tool is marvelous. It does the job, and it's dual ended. As you can see me use the two ends. One is to pick up the stones, and then I turn it around to the other side like this, and then just make sure they're like adhered all the way down. And I love these little tweezers. They're very thin and precise and picks up the rhinestones super easily. And speaking of the rhinestones, considering that this whole set was very, very affordable, the rhinestones shine beautifully. Of course, they're not Swarovski, but they're beautiful. Well, this is the final design. I'm just putting some cuticle oil. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please consider leaving a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribing if you haven't done so. I would love to see you guys there. So let me know if you want any other videos and what is it that you want to see.